$600, $700, $800? How much money do you really need to run Call of Duty on PC? What's up everybody, Cave here and welcome back to The Modest Gamer. In today's episode, we're going to be putting together a PC that runs Call of Duty and Fortnite, as well as talking a little bit about the channel. But before we get into that, snipe the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Growing up, I was always playing video games on consoles, but I always hated how much they broke. The PlayStation 3 broke, the PlayStation 4 broke, the Xbox 360 was broken from the factory. But after all the broken consoles, I got pretty tired of it. I knew I had to switch to something else. And then I came over to PC. PC gaming seemed like a distant luxury, but that's the stigma I want to break with this channel. If you want to get down to it, consoles cost just as much as PCs.
It sounds like a lot of...
Hoopla!
Sounds like a...
Hoopla! Hoopla!
But Cave, I could get a PlayStation 4 off Amazon for $300. PCs are way more than that. But let me let you in on a little secret. You actually pay $600 for that console.
What? What the...
And they do it through the use your own internet tax called the online service charge. This charge costs $60 a year, and most consoles typically last 5 years before they break or get replaced. This ends up costing you another $300, which ends up making the total cost of the console $600. Okay, Kate, I guess you have a point. But how do I build a PC under $600 that runs Call of Duty and Fortnite? In today's episode, I'm going to be showing you this $400 budget PC that's going to be able to run Call of Duty and Fortnite at medium settings. Let's get into some of the parts. So starting off with our processor, we got this Ryzen 5 2600X that has 6 cores, 12 threads, all running at 4.2 GHz boost. This is an awesome processor for a great deal that we were able to find, and it's going to be able to knock out any game out of the park. Moving on to the motherboard for this build, we went with another AsRock A320 motherboard. This is a solid budget motherboard that does everything we need it to. And if you want to see our other video, please check it out. Moving on to the memory for this build, we went with a 16GB kit of RAM from Crucial Ballistix running at 3200 MHz. After doing a lot of research into the games that we're going to be running on this machine, we went to go with 16 gigs instead of 8 gigs just because of the amount of performance variation that you get. Speaking of memory, let's move on to the system memory. We're going to go ahead and throw in a 120GB SSD to load up Windows and other applications, but for our main game storage, we got a 320GB hard drive. Moving on to the graphics card for this build, we went with a Power Color RX 560 4GB. This has more than enough VRAM for Call of Duty and Fortnite at medium settings and should be able to crush those games with ease. Powering up our entire system is going to be this Evga 500 watt power supply. We decided to go with 500 watts because we calculated the entire unit pulling 276 watts, and 500 watts has enough overhead in case we ever want to upgrade the graphics card for this build. Housing all of our parts for this system is going to be the Thermaltake Vera H17. We used the same case in our last video, but after working with the case and the price it comes in at, it was really hard passing it up for another video. Because the case only comes with one fan in the back, we decided to add an intake fan on the front. Alright, now that we're done with all the parts, let's get into the build. Now that we've put the system together, let's see what this thing can do. I want to go ahead and run some benchmarks on Warzone and on Fortnite just to see how many FPS we can get in game. I also want to see how much of the GPU and CPU we're using, as well as the temperatures and the maximum, minimum, average, and 1% low on the FPS. The reason I want all of this data to be shown is because I want you guys to know what you can expect out of a machine like this. At the end of each game, I'm going to be showing you a picture of the averages and the overall score of the game. Now let's get into the fun part. Let's get gaming. Alright, now that we're done with the benchmarks, what do y'all think? After looking at the results in the benchmarks, I was pretty happy to see that we were able to get some promising results, running 78 FPS on Fortnite on high, not medium, and running 52 FPS on average for Call of Duty Warzone on medium. But I think that's not even the best part about this system. The best part is that you can always get better FPS by either turning down some of the graphics, or one of my favorite options is saving that $60 a year that you're paying on internet with console and then getting a better graphics card down the line. After getting a better graphics card, you're going to be able to play ultra and high on this machine no problems because it's got such a solid foundation. Well, I mean, that's all I got. So let me know what y'all think in the comments below. If you haven't already, hit the thumbs up button on this video, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.